This is my little project. I guess I'm sharing experience. This is the computer, and this is the network, and that. Yeah, that's gonna be over here, and I'm gonna be taking the phone line, or I should say RJ11, and putting it over here between two outlets down through the stud. But yeah, the problem in here, the carpet was rotten. Yeah, I'll get back to that in a second. I don't even know. Yeah, I'll get back in a second. But anyway, there's a few spots of mold seeking around the window. Window's in good shape. It was all sealed up with foam. Yeah, all foam inside of it. Low self-expanding foam. That's what should be put around the window seal. Anyhow, I thought it was the window. And there's a piece of shingle instead of membrane around the stud. But yeah, there's some mold. I thought it was a real bad infestation of mold, but it turns out it was mainly the carpet. The carpet was absolutely horrifying. It was rotten. It was even wrapped up in bags, and the stench was still coming out. Like everything in this room had to be took out. There was no ifs or buts about it. But that's the full wall that's gone. There's a little bit of mold up here in the corner, black mold, but it could be air seeking in. I'm not quite sure. It's going to be pretty difficult to get at, considering how the studs are angled. I'm hoping it's not that bad. No, like I said, it's not the problem with the mold. It's the problem with the carpet. It was that bad that it actually, like I was sweating the moldings along the wall, and it was just completely stinking. All of it was just horrifying. And there was a closet here. If you look at the wall, there was a full closet right here. And when I took the 2x4 off of the carpet, which there was plastic underneath also. I don't know why there was plastic on top of the carpet. I don't know why. I'm not no professional carpenter by no means, but did grow up around it a lot. And my father did. He built numerous houses, so I was just the back seat basically. So I seen all this done many times. But yeah, there was a closet there, and when I took it out, it was just horrifying. Just completely rotten, all of it. But we're gonna see how this is gonna turn out. Shouldn't be, well, I was expecting the full wall to be full of mold. I thought the insulation would be just contaminated, everything. I thought I would just strip right down to the studs. But it turns out I don't have to, so that was a lot of time I saved. But I'm gonna tear this wall out right here, and then this wall. This wall is okay. There's nothing on this wall at all. Focus is bad in this. All the little tools that got up there. Yeah, and she's also sealed off with the bag. Well, the bag is falling down now. It needs to be taped back up again. Yeah, back to the carpet. The carpet seems to be, it's like it's underneath the stud. There is no tack strip, nothing at all. It feels like the carpet's been laid down on the floor, then the walls put up. And that's impossible unless this place, well, this is a mini home. It must have been built inside of a warehouse, well, not a warehouse, but probably a big building. Because there's no way you can lay down carpet first without putting the walls up. So this just baffles me. I'm just completely blown away that it feels like it's stuck underneath the studs. Honest to God, it really does. It feels like the nails are gone down. I can feel the slackness into it. I just can't get over it. It's just crazy. But if I can't get it out, the only thing I want to have to do is cut along the edges of it. I don't know. I'll probably little update again after. But I just wanted to capture this and just see, before and after how it actually turns out. And this stupid strips on the wall. Lazy people didn't want to caulk. Like this place has been put to bed. They get it really fast. Like dozens of people in this. Yeah, like probably many places have been built at the same time as this one's been under construction. It's a mini home, right? It comes off fairly easy. Pretty easy, I should say. But this wall now has none. I don't know if it has staples or it's gyprock screws. I don't know. Not really. No, I'm not really worried about that. I'm more worried about the mole. But like I said, it was mainly the carpet. Little project for now. Everything else is on hold. Yeah, let's see how that turns out. So I took off the wall, gyprock over here, and there we go. Hollow mole, black mole. You shouldn't disturb that stuff as much. You just take your time moving it. There's the spores in the air. I am wearing a respiratory mask, P100. Don't get the N95. It's pointless. It's still going to seek around it. I shouldn't even be talking right now with this off in the room because it's here. Well, we breathe it every day. It's just a matter of feeding it water or moisturizing in the air. Moisturizing, seeking in. But yeah, that needs to be cut off and sealed in the bag. That stuff can't be moved. Now, what is the insulation like behind it? I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. It seems to be more on the bag, and I highly doubt it was from the holes I drilled in the floor to run the category 6 cable. There was more staples and finishing nails in this than it was probably on that entire wall from the window to the left. It come off fairly easy. I just popped it off, cut it halfway, smack it, and then it just cracked in half here, piece by piece. But that's black mold, and this is the reason why the room's getting done over. Nobody should live in any kind of condition like this at all. If you smell it, deal with it. It ain't my place, and well, it's she's a good landlord or whatever, but has to be done. It has to be done, right? That's what I say. I'm still with the carpet. I still say the carpet is underneath the 2x4. And if anybody's watching this or anybody knows or experienced something like this before, please let me know. I don't even know what to do. I may cut out a foot, 12 inches. I'm assuming it's 12 inches. And in the stud, you can't cut them all out because you will weaken the wall up. But I just want to see for a laugh if that it is the case. I will follow up. But I'm going to continue ripping the rest of this wall out and this one over here, and then call it a day. That's it. Probably some of the insulation if I have time in the mold. Where I have places marked in the bag where the gyprock was full of mold. Like wherever there was mold on the gyprock, now I'll also mark there too, because eventually it'll start to clear up and you won't be able to see it. I'm assuming you might be able to wipe this off. Long as the insulation doesn't stink or it ain't contaminated, it should be good. Oh, this is also another good thing to like to point out. I don't know what this is, but I will find out soon enough. But when my father used to build houses, well, he built a few houses, I should say. But like I said, I was always in the back seat. I'm assuming this is some kind of glue or heated up or something. I don't know. It cracks pretty easy. But he would just use staples, but I do like the idea of having this on each stud. That's what I find pretty neat. I don't even know if there's a special tool to use for this. It comes out of a gun. I don't know. I never seen this before. Never did use it. I'll find out though. But all of these studs is going to have to be all taped up again. The so-called trucker tape, I guess they call it. I always thought it was house wrap tape or something. Yeah, truck tape. That's what it is. I don't even know if that's certified for this or someone just put it on. I don't know, but I'll ask later on. It all has to be all taped up. Like everywhere there was like staples, I was saying right here. Like there must have been probably about 75 staples just in that piece of gyprock over there. I'm dead serious. I couldn't believe it. Anyhow, that's it. See how it turns out. So I just took off the other piece over here, and like I say, you wouldn't be able to tell unless you look at the gyprock, but it is here, so there must be moisturizing seeking in somewhere here. This was fairly easy to take off. There was a couple of screws, which was nice. This wall also has, I say, screws, but it's there. Let's say, guys, this has been probably the worst one, like pure black. This is the worst one so far. There was a few by the heater and that, by the window and that, but nothing like this. So there's moisturizing seeking in the corner. More likely it's your house wrap, but also I like to state that if your house ain't level, the block underneath this is sunk. I say probably about, oh geez, 2 inches, maybe less. I never put the level down on the floor, but the floor is kind of wet. Not wet, but like it's been water damage or like moisturizing seeking in. But that's it. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to tell, so mark it with a marker if anybody's ever, like on YouTube or whatever, because numerous people had the same problem. Yeah, that's it though. Just cut it out and put it in the bag. Seal that shit up and don't move it around as much as possible. Try to keep it still from the spores leasing in the air. Well, they're in the air anyway, but yeah, that's it. We're here with the gyprock tore off, and there's definitely a few problems. The stink is still in the room. Yeah, well, it's not as bad as what it was before. I have no mask on, nothing at all. This is the first I've been in here. It's 2 days now. It's been. Yesterday's been a whole different tune. There's mold down here. There's the worst spot I took it off was right here. It really doesn't look like there's nothing here, but this truck tape, there's even foam behind it. I don't know. I really don't know at this point. It was up to me, I would just take off the siding outside and the house wrap to see, because there already been problems. This was replaced. The gyprock that I took from here was in the closet. That's probably why this was here. Yeah, you can see up here how the closet ran and down, and I'm telling you, it was bad, a bad stench. And even the floor over here I mentioned previously, or being off, it's probably not off 2 inches, probably off probably a ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch, probably less than that, because it really ain't that bad of a dip at all. But the value, if you ever see the block underneath the house, is a different tune. And yeah, so last night, or yeah, it was last night, doing a little research, studying, whatever, learning. The vapor barrier, I'm assuming this is what it's called, the vapor barrier, piece of plastic. Yes, we have multiple names, that's just the way things is, not to mention it inside of the computer world. But the vapor barrier, this stuff here, I'm assuming it could come out of a caulking gun. Then again, it was probably out of some kind of tool they were using, because this was done multiple. Like I said, this place was definitely done inside of a building and not built outside. Just before I hit record on this video, I looked up here. The plastic is folded over the top of the stud, the 2x4, and at first I thought there was, the name of it is what, is acoustic, a seal. What comes to my mind when I say acoustic is usually hard disk drive performance inside of it's a quieter mode, operation mode for a hard disk drive, a mechanical drive, not SSDs, not SSD storage, but a hard disk drive. Yeah, that's what comes to mind when I say acoustic, or something to do with music or something like that, right? But yeah, they said to seal it up with this black seal up here, which I want to have to do. But here's a good one. Yeah, if you got time or whatever, if anybody's watching this, there was a good video, right and wrong installation, and right off the bat, you can see up here, this is going to create a coal gap. You're going to see coal if you were to use a $3,000 thermal imaging camera. I would love to have one just mainly for a computer, just to see the hot spots on the board. But if you go watch the video, you'll see it, like he installations each cavity or whatever, quotations, cavity or stud, there's multiple names. See it of how he insulated each stud, each beam, whatever, each cripple, whatever you want to call it, cavity, multiple names again, which just makes more frustration to the problem. more stress. That you can see all the cold gaps in between. Moral of the story is, do not be squeezing in. Like even here, this, look at this one, huh? Obviously, anybody who's watching this that did carpentry work before, you would know right off the bat that this is a no-no. This is a flaw. I did insulation walls before my father's house, so he built many, like I said previously. I didn't know, but although it still was cut, I wasn't filling in like no cavity like this. Yeah, like this. And right off the bat, if you're looking to the thermal imaging camera, you would see cold gaps to below. There would be cold gaps everywhere in this wall just because the way it is. That's what I learned about that, so I did follow up on the vapor barrier, the so-called acoustic seal. Maybe there's different names, maybe I'm saying it wrong, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, or maybe I heard it wrong, I don't know, but that's what it's usually called. This stuff here, let's see how it's off. Like everything right now at this point, after what I've been learning or studying, this vapor chamber has to come off because there's too many holes into it. So that's why I'm saying stress. Like it's just non-stop. Like every time you think you're getting hit, it's just more and more and more. And at this point, like I said, if I owned it the place, the siding and the house wrap would come off indefinitely in the corners because of the black mold that was here, and not as bad over there. But right here is the main part of it all. Like I said, the closet stinked, all of it. The carpet's rotten, and my theory about the carpet being underneath the stud, I'm still standing by it. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. And whoever did that, if that's the case, is by far the most fucked up individual. Plain and simple. There's no back doors with me. I don't know what possessed you to put carpet underneath of a stud. That's probably the cause. And this ain't the cause of it, because this only been here about 10 months, if that. And there's no, yeah, I feels air coming in around it a little bit. But that's not the point. This was already here. Nobody can tell me the difference. I will be taking this off, cleaning up all the walls. I'm taking off. I want to start with the corner. Come up and see what it's like. And then I'll follow up. We're going to see what's going to happen. So, back again, I guess. I cleaned all the nails and for whatever I can get out the wall and the screws and these little nail gun. You can see that autofocus. Yeah, I doubt that's gonna autofocus. Yeah, this Sony Cyber Shop. The camera's crap. Anyway, yeah, these nails are just horrifying. They're a pain in the ass because you can only take them out one way. I got a few out, but most of the heads broke off me trying to twist it or whatever. But trying to take it out feels like the window casing is basically coming out. I want to just cover all of the wall, and I want to start from over here, and this is the cleanest spot in the full place. Well, the damaged here again, but all gonna be taped up with truck tape, I guess. That's the tip too. Truck tape do not stick good to wood, so don't put it on wood. It's good for plastic in that there, and around your outlet or electrical box. But you can usually get sponge that covers over that, which I have. Right here. It goes over that, seal it up. But there's also people that recommended foam to go around this. The electricians should put plastic behind this so you can haul it out over top. Then duct tape, not duct tape it, put truck tape on it. The wiring, I like to point out too, how it's causing, like this place was slapped together fast as possible, no inspection whatsoever, and my theory of this being built inside of a warehouse or a big building or whatever, storage place, whatever you want to call it, like I said, multiple names just pisses off people and pisses me off. And look up here, look at the cold gap that's going to be creating. They just stuck the wire in there, put the insulation back. It should not be like that. Insulation should be flush along the edges, outside nice and smooth, nice and cut, nice and smooth. There should be no cold spots in the wall. And like I said, if you go watch that the wrong and right insulation installation, weird name, right? Insulation installation. And even here, another coal gap. All up here shouldn't be like this at all. Look, it should not be like this at all. It should be nice and flush against your stud. Just go search it and you'll see what exactly I'm talking about. Everything right now. If anybody understands carpentry work, you'll know right off the bat by looking at this wall is like someone just come in here drunk or something and just want to do it and get out. Right? Look at it. I just wants to go around again to show it all, like the full wall. Look at all this here, especially this part. This is ridiculous. That shouldn't even be like this. I could see it in the thermal imaging view of what it looks like if you have one, or if you get a lend of one or something. I don't know. You can rent it, but I don't have $3,000 to buy one. Here, same way. Look at it. Now we're gonna go down here. Do you see what I mean? Look at the wire. Should not be like this. And if there's a wire coming across, you should cut the insulation halfways, like slice it, fold it over behind the wire, then fold down the rest of it. That's the way it should be put. Even here, well, look at it. Look at it. Like this is crazy. You wonder why it's sweating. I don't know how much more I could put up with this, to be honest with you. I just like when you actually start to learn it and you see the flaws is into it, it's just mind blowing. It's just mind blowing. Look at down here. Look at it. Look at the gap. It's not even cut right. Look at it. It starts from up here and it comes like this place was just slapped together. This is a mobile home, mini home. We don't own it, but we'll probably end up owning it. But at this point, I really don't care, because if the rest of the place is like this place is probably 15, 20 years old now. You may get like another 5 years out of it, 8 if lucky. And there's already spots in the house that I can smell mold, and it's basically around the windows is where it's all coming from. The wall where the windows is. And it's just cheap ass gyprock. It's like wallpaper over the gyprock. Man, this camera's crap. Yeah, it's like a weird design. I don't know if that's mole specs. You can't see nothing in that. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going over here. Like I said, the wire. Look at it, all stuff. It should not be like this. And the barrier or the acoustic seal or whatever this stuff is called, more than likely this was not put on with a caulking gun and was probably put on with a tool. Design, I'll talk about tools in a minute, so what I use so far. Get all this little big gap. Oh my god. And see all down here in the corner, well, that's all pushed in where all the mold is. And then another electrical outlet. That's also another thing too, when you're using this, you should make sure, like this one over here, I took it off, I broke the ground. All of these were loose. This is live right now. This is drawn 15 amps, 120 volts to 115. When you times it by 120 volts, it'll be 725 watts for the full outlet. Well, these are wired on 2 different separate panel boxes, so I kind of do have leverage. I think so. No. Yeah, it's the heater's on a separate breaker. Yeah, circuit breaker, and these are on a 15 amps, so 725 watts for each. That's what usually the American household has. So I'm in Canada, so hey boy. Yeah, continue along the wall. Another gap there, all up here. Look at this up here. Look at that. Huh. As what one guy said, the R value of the insulation is gone. You have to keep this fluffiness into it and make sure it's flushed. Now, like I said, most people don't use this seal. Some people just use staples and then put the acoustic seal. I really hope that's the right name. I don't sound stupid in this, but that's what he says anyway. It's black. It's something like a tar. Really messy stuff too. Really messy stuff. There ain't a whole lot of info on the net, YouTube and that there. But if you really wanted to start searching and digging through diagrams and all that, you probably cover more. Or just go to your Home or Depot, whatever. And yeah, I just want to cover the walls or show the weakness of why it's causing draft or air cold spots versus warm. Like I said, this will be all warm in the thermal imaging. Then down here you'll start to see cold. It'll be all cold spots, right? Yeah, here too. Another spot. Like the walls is horrifying. Like I said, any carpentry looking at this, you would know right off the bat that this is done really messy. All of it. And the corner situation, I don't know what to do with the corners. I'm going to cut it out. Probably 2. Go back. It doesn't matter. The full wall has to be took out. All the insulation has to be took out. New vapor barrier has to be put up. It has to be sealed. whatever. I don't even want to know what's in these corners, because if you watch so far up to here, the mold that was in here is just ridiculous. I'm touching it and everything, no gloves on, no mask, spores everywhere in the air. But here's the tools I use so far. Well, bags and that, wrap it all up, the mold, screwdriver, you're gonna need a utility knife definitely, screwdriver for the outlet, gyprock for the saw, gloves, probably you're gonna need knee pads later on, scissors to cut the bag, whatever, tape measure, another gyprock knife. But yeah, that's all I use so far to get here. Just that. Hammer. You're gonna need one of these. You're gonna fall in love with one of these. You're gonna definitely need that. I can't even describe the amount of times that I used this. Numerous times, dozens, hundreds of times I used this. It's definitely useful to have if you're trying to get anything off. You need this. But that's the tool so far to get where I am. And yeah, I just wanted to cover the wall basically to show the weaknesses into it. And this has to be took all off, all of it. There's too many punctures, all of it. The seal is all like, this is dust. This is dust, look. It has to be took off. Much as I don't want to, that's why I'm saying I'm stressed now at this point. I don't know. I don't know. This ain't even my place. I'm just doing it. And if this do continue to be like this, like the odor, the smell that is residing in this room, I'm not staying here any longer. I'll probably end up moving at the end. Where, I don't know, but I will not be staying here, and neither will my items or things be contaminated by this stench. Everything, I already packed everything long ago before I even started this, probably months in advance. It was already packed. I couldn't take the stench no more. And then when I steam cleaned the carpet, that's when it escalated. It just totally went bonkers, out of control. But yeah, that's the tools and all that, and how I feel about it so far in my experience. But I want to cut out the corner right here, 2 bags of insulation. And like I said, it's winter outside. I wasn't expecting there was no snow here. Everything was gone. It was like spring. We're at the end of March. And I said, yeah, sure, it's a fine time to do it while it's cool. And yeah, behold, blizzard come last night and we got snow again. I really don't want to take all this out, but it has to be took out. It has to be, coal or no coal. And the carpet, like I say, it's definitely underneath. Oh yeah, I'll go back over here and show you. The heater's also turned off from the breaker. But if you can look, see the bag right here? The bag was laid down on top of the carpet. So the carpet was laid down first, like I said, inside of a warehouse. I may cut a stud out at this point right now. I mean, yeah, it definitely is underneath the 2x4 with plastic. And the stench, I don't know. I guess I'll have to cut along it and just caulk it or something. I don't even know if that's a good idea to do, or just cut it and leave it like that. The gyprock is going to come down over top of it. It may cause sweating again inside of it. Then eventually start seeking up into your laminating floor, which is going to be your laminating floor, and into the molding. The moldings were petrified. The moldings were just absolutely, you could not, I brought it like no more than like 5 feet in front of the girlfriend, and she just said, get it out of here. It was rotten. I mean literally rotten. You couldn't, the house was petrified with it. And everything's sealed up. But it's not even close to being as bad as what it was at first. That's it. A little bit stress relieved. Yeah, anybody watches this, this is Phony Virus redoing his lab. Hopefully it does turn out, but like I said, the stench stays. I'm not going to be staying here longer. I really do hope that the vapor barrier do help. Insulation does solve the problems with the cold spots. Like, everything will be done right, the way it should be done, the way I know it should be done, from what I learned so far. And like I said, any carpenter knows that this is a no-no. This is definitely a no-no. None of it. Like I said, someone is like to come in here drunk and just put it into the wall and they call it a day. Sloppy job, messy, strips on the wall, no caulking. Right, it's just fast as could be, staples everywhere. I would say about a good 70% of this trailer on the inside, our mini home, is definitely with staples. It's just horrifying. There's staple gun, staple nails or nail gun nails, whatever you want to call it. It's just absolutely horrifying to take off. It's time consuming. It's all of it. I'm just basically, yeah. Anyhow, this is it. We'll see what it turns out with the insulation. So I just took out, well, just got done talking to the girlfriend about everything. It's bad. So this is just A little insight. The plyboard on the outside is going to have to come off. There's leakage in the peak outside. That's where it all begins. Look at the black mold. These walls, my theory was right about the carpet. The RJ11 wire connection, electrical outlet box, it is underneath the stud. This place was built inside of a warehouse, wherever it may be. Yeah, it's there. You can see the drill going down through the carpet. So the only thing I can do from this point is cut the carpet. There's still going to be carpet underneath this stud. We don't know if it's all the way or if it's only half the way. Anything's possible with this fucking mockery is what it is. Mockery. It even looks like there's mold seeking in down there. I really don't know. And the 4x4. I'll try to be quick at this. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's mold there, but yeah, underneath this here, there's a 4x4. Two pieces of 2x4 to make 4x4. Yeah, yeah. And it's rotten. Not all this, but on the other side of the house. It's gone. But what I want to have to do now at this point, there's not much I can do because there's snow outside on the ground. I can't be going outside ripping off house wrap and siding and that, so this is completely on hold probably for another month or so. What I want to have to do is just take all the insulation out. I don't want to because it's going to be cold, but tough shit. It has to be done. I don't want this stench in this house. I don't want it at all. And to leave this dry out. Boy, it looks pretty bad through the video. More than what it does with the human eye. Looks bad. It's probably seeking over from here in the corner. We don't know what these studs are like yet. They look like they're in pretty good shape, so you might be able to just leave them there. Or what this corner piece is in here, we do not know. I do not know. Only way you're going to tell us from the outside. Now here comes the bad piece over here. This is probably the worst, most disgusting when I first started it. Here we go. Well, black. All black. Black mold is eating right into this stud. Nothing left to it at all. Eating right into this stud. So it is in the peak. It's in there. Like there's moisturizing seeking in. We don't know if it's the house wrap causing the problem on it, or if it's the peak, but we'll find out in a month's time when we go inside to take off the siding, and we'll probably end up just replacing the plyboard because it splits up down here, so it's going horizontal. If you got the full siding off, you're just better off just to replace the full siding. Then we'll be able to see what's inside this corner and the peak to see what's going on. We don't know if it's the, I think it's called the A-frame, whatever, goes up to the little peak. I could be wrong again, I don't know, I'm not no carpenter. Just a backseat guy, always sit behind handling tools or being the second hand. Also the plastic too, as you can see the plastic, like I said, was wrapped over, so the walls were built along with the carpet underneath, so I have no choice but cut it. But that's my project for now, so my computer build and reading, upgrading, repairing PCs and that there, I'm 25% in. It's just gonna have to wait. Now that the insulation is all moved, we have a good idea of what's happening. Let's start from this wall. I'm sick of going in the other corner. Seems to be okay, that's the staples. Even the siding has staples, as you can see spaced in between, like bang, bang. It's just wow, right? Even more of a headache to take it off. I despise it. So basically, I said it was 70–80% previously. Fuck, that's probably a long time ago. Yeah, I take that back. Probably a good 90% is put together by staples, for Christ's sakes, minus the studs. The outlet, this outlet was done right. The plastic was hauled through and taped. This one wasn't. It was put up with caulking or seal, not caulking, seal. Yeah, that's also thing. Is the seal is what this is. Again, like I said, this didn't come out of a caulking gun. This was probably more of a tool that was used because it's really hard. And I could be wrong. I'm not no carpenter, I mean. Yeah, so it starts here. It seems to be okay, but the problem is not the eave or the peak or whatever. It's a gap somewhere. There's a gap of that wasn't flush. Plumb. It wasn't plumb. It should be. I'm assuming. Well, this is probably close as you're gonna actually get it. But I'm assuming up here is not. Yeah, the full wall. Let's zoom back and show you the full wall. All up along, so this top header. I'm assuming that's what it's called, the king stud. And you got your cripples down there. I can only imagine what's up behind the header. I'm assuming this is a top plate. Yeah, top plate and the bottom plate's down there. Alright, it makes there's all fancy names for everything, right? It's just like nuts. I could be wrong again at this point. Well, I am going to go brush up on every bit of it. And the load, L-O-A-D, not low, load bearing wall. Everybody pronounces it as if it was low. This is a load bearing wall right here. And this one over here, because where all the weight is onto it. You could probably also count one that's going up the hall as a load bearing wall. This I wouldn't really could. It probably is depending on the architecture of your house. But it's just horrifying. Water seeking in from up here and down. My theory about the ventilation, I got insulation in my eye. Jesus Christ. Or dirt something. The stink ain't as bad no more. I have to admit that. So if the walls were replaced, the plyboard, I'm assuming it's a 1/4 inch plyboard. Yeah, 1/4 of an inch. Plyboard, but it's all along. So we were talking to somebody about it. It had the same problem, and basically there's a gap up there. The wood is not flush or plumb, and it's gonna have to be took off. I thought it was the air vent above, but if it was, the full ceiling would be rotten. It's somewhere just up past the top plate. Then again, I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm assuming that's what it's called, but it's a piece of wood to me. All right, it's a piece of wood. I don't know if this header, if that's the correct name, Jesus, sandwiched together, but it's off. So it's a little bit up in this corner too. Seeking, but my main concern right now is that I like how you can see it here, and this is basically the top of it. Like I said, when you get outside, you're not going to know if that's the eave or is the rain seeking in through the wood, getting behind the house wrap, even if there is house wrap there. Like, that's another thing too with the names. It's called house wrap. Okay? House wrap. There's multiple names. House wrap. You can go watch 500 videos you want about carpentry, and it's called house wrap. I don't care what stupid name you got of manufacturing or whatever is making it. It's house wrap, okay? And stuff that goes around the inside of your window, membrane. I don't care what manufacturer is making it. It's called membrane, plain and simple. I had enough of multiple names. It's called membrane, along with house wrap and siding. You can have advertising at Home Depot you want, so whatever. But yeah. It's called house wrap, but it has to come off right now. We can't. There's still snow outside. It's clearing up though. But yeah, that's the solution. It's gonna have to be go outside and have to wait, but it will come off. I just really hope I don't know what it's called, the rafter, the A-frame, the peak, whatever it may be. I'm just so tired of names and definitions and dealing with 3 and 4 names to represent one thing and so on. But as of now, I can't go any further. I'm just gonna clean up the room, vacuum it up. Carpet tube is in the wall, so if I was to take the carpet out, I mean underneath the bottom plate or stud or 2x6 or whatever, I'm assuming it's 6 inches, it's underneath there. So if I was trying to remove it, I would probably create a 1/4 of a gap between that. So it is there, and I even poked it here in between the crack, and all you feel is just carpet, so it has to be cut. Nothing you can do about it. Nothing. But that's it. We'll see how it turns out when we hit outside. Yeah. So this is the problem you have, like I said. If it ain't done right, that's what you have. Look at the wall, man. It's horrifying. Look at it. Rotten. Not rotten, but it's wet. It's water damage now. Imagine what's up there. And this side ain't as bad. And this side is just like petrified with it. Move it behind the wall there. Soaked. It's wet. It's seeking down. I was blaming the plastic at first, but it ain't the plastic because it's nice and clean over here with the plastics, eh? And then I stopped here because the walls are great. It looks like it's wet, but it ain't. It must be glue or something. I don't know. Anyhow, I'm out. Everything's out the room. I cleaned it all up. All the studs or nails are all hauled. Everything's clean. There's no mess. Floor's mopped up. Dehumidifiers in here to take out the dampness, dry it out. Smell lingers a bit, but nothing like the carpet whatsoever. So I was talking to father, dad. Get to that in a second about multiple definitions. I already said it previously in another take, but this is a new one. It's kind of late now, but I just wanted to wrap it up because this will be the end of part 1 basically, and part 2 will be outside just to see how it actually goes. This is the theory that I had. At first I thought it was the air vent in the corner. It's not, because if it was the air vent seeking water in, like into the house, it would only be basically just above the header. Oh, that's another thing I like to point out. I love how he puts down end. It's not end, it's called a header. Okay, this is by a 2x6, I believe it is. There's probably something filled in between to make out. I'll get back to this in a second anyway. Yeah, so it's probably coming down into the vent. That was my theory. No, it's not that, because it wouldn't be spread across the full wall. Then I thought it was space in between the board of water seeking in, just, well, probably behind the J channel or something like it there. And then when I was talking to father, he said, is there vinyl siding? Vinyl siding on the house. He said, and then he said that it's impossible for the rain to actually get behind that. So that, scratch it off the list. It definitely ain't that. What it is that, oh, here comes the names. Here, the outlook that goes out, the peak, the eave, it's called outlook. And then we have the out triggers, just in between this, that connects to, well, the fly rafter. Fly, but really it's supposed to be called dry fly rafter, because I'm assuming we were just too lazy to actually put the full name there, or just someone was just too lazy to say it. Whatever. Every book on the face of the planet should be all written over, and there should only be one word for one thing. It would be a lot more easier for us to understand. It's on the dry fly rafter that comes out that makes your peak. And then we have the gable studs that comes down, and on this wall, any carpenter would know, or anybody's going to school or college or whatever for this stuff, the wall itself, it wouldn't take long. A simple Google search will show you diagrams with multiples of layouts and everything. But this is no balloon framed gable wall, which it would be from the top plate right straight up to your your plate. But really, it's another word that's called up to your other plate, your top plate. With no, this wouldn't be your top plate at all. It would run right to the verge. Yeah, it would run right to the verge plate. That's another thing too, is this marked plate. And there's also a raked framed gable in wall with a scissor, or I should say raked frame, scissor gable in wall. Like it comes up so far in the diagonal, then it's gable studs. But anyway, if the water, so basically what it is, the water is not getting in from behind the vinyl siding or seeking down behind it. There's no crack. It's coming in from the peak. So this is going to be pretty difficult for me to even be able to do anything. I can't now, but if I got to be dealing with the roof and the rafters, which is what they're called, rafters, but yet the end of it, gable in, or I should say, the gable in wall. I really don't know what's going to happen there, or if I'm even going to be able to do it. I don't know. Probably leaking in from the peak, the outlook that comes out, and if that's the case, it's all rotted. It definitely, if the wall is like this over here eating into the stud, the 2x6 stud, so we can just imagine what it's going to be like on the top plate, like on the outside top plate, because you could see it was all black. So we can only imagine what it's like, right? You can only imagine. And God knows what the Gable studs looked like. Like I said, not to mention the out triggers that connects to the drywall, no, it's not drywall, dry fly rafter. But yeah, so we go, but yeah, we connect a Gable trim to something that has nothing to do what we're putting it on. Stupid, right? Completely stupid. Whatever, I gotta stop ranting. Yeah, so we're gonna put the Gable trim on the end of the dry fly rafter. Okay, yeah, great. The Gable studs are there and the Gable in wall, but why would you want to call it Gable trim? Because whatever, man, whatever. Stupid people, man. So that's gonna have to be done. But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it from this, but we'll find out soon enough. The floor is also off. I said it probably about 1 inch or 2. More likely 1 inch. That's off here, then it starts to line up pretty good back here. And so on, right? Like it's not so much then. Coming down, you can see my finger going deeper, so it's like right here it starts. So it has to be jacked up, this part here. And the theory of me with the carpet underneath, you can put your finger, I mean, like it's there. It's underneath this. And it would create probably a 1/4 inch gap if you were to actually remove it. And if this wall has to be, I don't want to rebuild this wall over, I'm dead serious at all. I just noticed that the window frame is actually up to code from what I can see. There was a comment in one off of House Improvements. Cool names like Home Improvements, but it's House Improvements, right? It's cool. Shannon is his name. It shows you how to build a window frame or whatever. And then there was a guy that commented 2 weeks ago, to be precise, that he was in college and that the trim, the trim jack, 2 names again. Oh yeah, we got 2 names again. So I just call it the trim jack, exactly what I calls it. The trim jack supposed to be supporting the header. So this is definitely up to code, and he said that in the book, it is up to code. So the window frame is done right, but you can see more up here. Like I say, we don't know what the top plate's like, because I do know it is seeking in from the peak, nowhere else but the peak. I was just baffled trying to think, like, how's it actually getting behind the vinyl siding, and father actually come up with a conclusion. It's coming out. The peak is no more than probably about 6-7 inches over, so you can forget. It's probably sticking up underneath the shingles, and then if that's the case, we have to deal with, like I said, the out triggers, the dry fly rafter. We'll probably hopefully that the Gable, more likely if it's like that over in the corner, I would say that the Gable studs are just well pretty gone too, and the Gable in wall, the triangle piece, right? Well, this is the full Gable in wall in my opinion, right? But I can guess why. That's probably why they call it Gable. Gable trim for the top of your house. Well, it goes all around the house, but really it's called the dry fly rafter. It doesn't make sense, man. There's so many names for everything. And just like this too, with your bottom plate, your top plate, and you got your king stud or normal stud, or yeah, if you want to. Then you have your trim jack or something like that. I'm assuming that's what I forgot. Probably just said the right name. I'm saying it wrong now. I don't know. Then you have your header. Then we have your not window frame. It's window frame. Yeah, your frame plate. No, not frame plate. Seal plate. Sorry, yeah, seal plate. Your window seal plate. Then you have your cripples here. There's no cripples here because we're so short. Usually the header would have probably another, well, whatever's down here. Probably be tree. another tree cripples up on top, so we don't have that. And it's supposed to be probably about an inch of a gap between your inner shell. There's another name for that, but I can't remember. I can't remember everything. But I did brush up on a nice bit of it, especially well after I realized that it could be coming into up on top of the roof, seeking in behind the gable end. And this was only recently too, like probably a couple hours ago, that I actually brushed up on all of this. So that's about it so that's what's happening. And you can see it over here again. It's like, how is it really possible for the rain to get on there? And it's, I would say it's coming in underneath the shingles, and if that's also the case, like I said, the roof is rotted, your outer triggers is rotted, your outlook, I should just see exactly the outlook to represent it all. The outer, well, yeah, the outer outlook is probably all rotted indefinitely. We don't know what the top plate may hold, because we do know that we have another 2x6, hopefully, that's resting on this top plate to support the gable studs. So we don't know what it's gonna be like. We know that it's gonna, if it is up to that area, it will be definitely, the full outlook will have to be replaced. Yeah, definitely. So that's it. It's nice and clean. I'm right up to the end of the wall. Yeah, there's no zoom on this, but yeah, this is the lab that's being done over. Those shelves will be over here on this wall, and where I'm standing will be the network. All that networking and that will be over here in storage cabinets. I also got to rewire that over, but as of now there's a blizzard outside and there's snow everywhere, probably about 3 or 4 feet of snow. So winter ain't over yet. It's kind of chilly in here, but it had to be done. Like I said, once you're in the room and it doesn't smell bad no more. I couldn't be in this room for no more than probably about 6-7 minutes. I had to get out of it. It was just horrifying to even be in here. It was rotten, period. Nobody should live in conditions like that. The moldings were petrified too with it. And we also have 2 moldings in the living room. It has the same stench. When the heater's turned on, you smell it. So I already know what I'm faced with out in the living room. That's the next year project. But as of now, this is really serious. I didn't think it would be this bad after I start brushing up and, you know, studying stuff and talking to people, you know, father, whatever, dad and that, and, you know, like other people's opinions, and actually, I would say it's a good 90% probability that it is the eve, the outlook coming out with your outer triggers and your dry fly rafter, the gable studs, and then your, oh boy, that's going to be some work. I really hope the top of this top plate can actually be saved, right? I really hope it's just water damage and we can just put, you know, like mold control or something onto it, wipe it down. Mold control gives it this weird coating over it, so it prevents it to actually come back or anything like that. Like I said, we have insulation that's going to be up there. We don't know what the, maybe seeked in, maybe only a little bit of black mold was on the chip rock, but it's over here, right? We don't know what we're gonna face. I might have to tear this out 2 feet back yet and go right down. You don't know what you're gonna be faced with. It's gonna be extreme. Part 2 is gonna be extreme. Like I said, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to do it or not. But I do have other stuff to do around the house, so that's pretty good now to keep me occupied for the time being. And just wait this one out until it clears up more better. Until it gets warmer, basically. That could be a month, 2 months, whenever. But it will be done somehow, some way. Yeah, so that's the end of part 1, and I'll follow up to see how it turns out. I can't wait. I'm kind of excited, to be honest with you, to see all that stuff I learned. You know, to see it was actually there. And the windows up to code, so that was pretty cool. Because I was thinking about building a new frame over, but really wouldn't have been able to because of the, oh geez, I don't even know how long this house is width. But it's just one full top plate. There's no gaps, but there's one over here in the bottom plate though. Yeah, over here in the bottom plate. But yeah, that's it. I can't wait to see how it turns out. All those definitions and meanings and diagrams and layouts and comments and reading people's work and, you know, all of it. Just pretty cool. I just can't wait to see. But like I said, there's too many definitions and If it was only one, I think it would be a lot easier for us in the long run to actually acknowledge more knowledge, right? acknowledge more knowledge. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's about it. So she's done. Peace. It's probably, everything's probably rotten. I don't know.